So we are doing another Nobody Talks Anymore podcast, and it is an absolute pleasure to be joined by the absolute legend, Gaz Whelan, co-founder of the Happy Mondays.
Yeah, sounds middle-aged, that introduction, but I am. And I've got, before anyone calls me a dick, got these on because these are only bisexuals, Freudian slip, bifocals. Christ, we started already, haven't we? Sorry, just had a coffee as well, and it's early day. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. Sorry, I've been outside. Because my eyes are going. You can take them off. I can't. Yes.
I think you look really cool.
You don't want to see the bottom half.
You got a skirt on.
Speedos.
Have you? So Gaz, so you live in Toronto, don't you, Gaz? So it's the middle of the day for you.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's warm. We have good summers. In fact, we have more sunny days in California. Not as warm though. Most of them are cold. But the winter's cold but sunny. It's very rarely get clouds and it's all stars at night time. It's great for us. Beautiful.
Is it warm? So it's warm there at the moment, is it? Because we're just coming to spring, obviously here, but it's still cold. It's still blinking freezing here. We've got rain coming for the next few days.
Oh, it's cold when you go out of my back garden, but it's sunshine and warm, so it's nice. I was doing, this sounds really pompous, but I was out in just my shorts this morning doing my yoga and my exercises, breathing just outside on the deck. We usually have to wear, wrap up, but so it's about 14 degrees, which is quite unusual. But we have good summers here from about June till end of September, October. It's warm, and July and August are just 110 degrees, ridiculous, too much.
Oh my God. Yeah, it does. When it's really hot, it does get too much. But do you have aircon over there? Because obviously, in Britain, when we just melt when it's hot.
Well, we do have aircon, but me and my wife being British, we try not to use it. And our kids have been brought up here, so they're always putting it on. But it gets too hot in August. You have to put it on, but we try not to. But most of the Brits don't use it. We don't use aircon.
We don't need it. We're hard.
It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I end up looking like Rigsby by the end of the day. It's just ridiculous. But But yeah, you have to have aircon, and outdoors you have to have a fan. It just gets too hot.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've got that to look forward to, hopefully, this summer. But yeah, we had some nice weather. We had some nice weather a couple of weeks ago. It was at the start of spring, and then it all went cold again. So I think it's been nice and sunny until tomorrow, and it's going to be raining and like 6 degrees again.
I love the rain. I do love the rain. I'm a bit of a pluviophile, but I like the sun as well. In England or Britain.
What did you call it? A puriophile?
Pluviophile, someone who loves rain.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I don't mind the rain, actually. Like some of my favourite, when I go out running in the morning, I quite like it when it's pouring hard with rain. I think once you accept that you're going to get wet, it's quite enjoyable.
I love the rain. I love it. And running in rain is great as well. I love the rain, but not all the time. I like some heat. Never happy, are we? Whinging pond.
It's true. I just try and embrace all the weather, to be honest. I quite like a storm. It's something quite romantic about a storm. But again, I love spring is my favourite. Like all my flowers are coming up in the garden now. So I planted loads of daffodil bulbs, daffodil bulbs before Christmas. So seeing them grow, I'm like, I planted them. They're still alive.
Really? We have crazy storms here. They're quite good, but storms in England are very Emily Bronte, aren't they? I like that as well. Walking up the top of Winter Hill in near Bolton, and you get hit by the elements. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, nothing better. So you did mention earlier about your yoga. So am I right in saying that you're not a Buddhist, but you kind of, because I'm really interested in it all as well. But because I love all your posts, like mindfulness and Buddhism, it's really interesting. So obviously, when you were in the Happy Mondays, that probably wasn't your way of life then.
No,
so what made you was it a gradual transition to this kind of mindful lifestyle?
No, then I probably started actually when I was in mid-20s in the Happy Mondays. My mindfulness was usually Guinness and God's herb, can I say? Kind of it. I never succumbed to the stronger, partaking of certain elements. Because I'm 5 years younger than all the others, me and PD. So I never really got into the hard stuff. I mean, I had my moments. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being Mr. I had my moments on stuff, especially during the 90s and the end of the 80s. I was dancing like a plum, like anybody else. You know what I mean? But Yeah, I used to meditate then. I started doing yoga then. I started yoga in 1990.
Oh, did you really? So it was while you were in, like, right at the peak time.
I fell off the wagon, you know what I mean, all the time because you go on tour and they've been. I mean, I have bad OCD, which I've had since I was 11, and the only thing that works for it, I've tried medication, counselling, everything, was alcohol. So I used to drink, but never too much, because when I drink too much, I turn into a liar, especially if I have whiskey. God, I can lie. Unbelievable lies. Ridiculous lies, you know what I mean? Just liar. So I try not to. And I remember, so yeah, I was always into it. Bez was always into like that kind of stuff. I mean, he was always into the spiritual side of things and outdoor pursuits. He likes the real, you know, that kind of, climbing and all that. I kind of like more the chilled out stuff. But he's a not, he'll try anything. He always was like that.
Oh, that's brilliant. You must have some amazing memories. Do you still stay in touch with everybody?
No.
No? Was it did you ever fall out, or is it just
no,
moved on?
No, we don't fall out. We just, you know, I think I keep in touch with Bez now and again by email. You know, we keep in touch, we have a moan about stuff because we share a lot of books and stuff and all that. And I keep in touch with Paul Ryder, he's in LA. He sends an email now and again, but that's really about it, really. We don't really, no, we've all got our kind of our own paths. It's always a little bit like that, I think. No, we won't. No, that's wrong. That we're always a grand gang together, but we kind of, as you get older. Don't forget, yeah. I'm 5 years younger, so I was kind of always seen upon as a kid still, you know, and probably am still. You know, it's a big gap that when you're, you know, 15.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it definitely is. Like, the younger you are, that is a big age gap. But I just find it also interesting, and obviously, you were in the band at the best time, I think.
It's not bad. I would have liked to be in the 60s. So, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, for like, consider when we're alive. Like, compared to now, it's more difficult, isn't it now?
I don't think I don't want to be depressive, but I think the days of the bands kind of thing. I don't know whether it's got any legs anymore for a number of reasons. Cost. I mean, you know, you will see when, especially doing tours around the world, like going to Australia. How many's in the band? How many crew? Less amount in the band. You know, I think 3 is you know, more than 3 people. You're going to struggle. And I think bands, it's the politics within bands and egos in you know, the nicest sense of the word. It's like being in a free loving commune, or you know, nowadays with social media and so much what goes on, it's hard for bands to survive. I think, and I think on many levels, just on personal levels, I don't think they've got a future. And I think the dehumanization of the future of people gatherings and people the way people are, I think it's going to struggle.
Yeah, I know. It's a conversation that I've had with a lot of bands, actually, like bands and people in the music industry. I think it's just the world's changed. There's just a lot of bands out there all kind of striving to get a good position. And I think for people, there's just so much music out there, so much choice. And I think people as listeners need to change the way they listen, like maybe just expand like the number of bands and artists that they listen to be able to support as many bands and artists that want to try and make it. But there's definitely a change coming somehow. Not quite sure what will happen. But yeah, I think in terms of like big breakthrough bands and bands that, you know, the radio's pushed on everybody and it was kind of like, this is what you've got to listen to because it's the only thing you can hear. Those days are kind of gone. So yeah, I have to wait and see.
You have gone, so it's better, you know, it's in your own hands. But now, the problem with that is now it's in your own hands. It takes 70% of your time. You're not going to see, you know, you can't concentrate on making the music. Being an artist has changed these days, no matter what, whether, you know, whatever form it takes, it's music or, you know, art or photography or whatever. You know, everyone's got a camera, everyone's a musician, everyone's a writer. You know, it's difficult, but that's good because you find, you know, people that haven't been through the. I can't believe you did that. I've been living here too long. The system, the system are, but because of that, you just get a huge amount of people doing it. So you've got to sift through it, and there's lots of nonsense, that rubbish out there. And I think the problem with rock and roll is it's been around for, you know, whenever Ike Turner invented it with his, you know, Rocket 58 song, 88 song, you know, wherever rock and roll started or whatever. It's been a long time, and it's hard to reinvent itself. When I just see a band. No, I hear all the time, go see this band, they're like got loads of attitude. Kind of been done that. There's 4 of them, the song like Oasis, kind of been done that. And it's difficult, you know, and they're their influences, so I don't blame them bands for being like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm not one to give advice. You know, advice to listen to all kinds of music with the Mondays. we had, we used to list playlists would go from Kate Bush to Sly Stone to Miles Davis to Johnny Cash to ABBA to classical to right across the board. And nick ideas from a different genre, put it into your genre. You've got a new tune, but people, and Spotify, which I've not been on, I don't go on, I will do, but I know they're like music. People listen to music like my kids now. It's a secondary, it's a passive pursuit.
Exactly, but that's it. It's kind of watered down, isn't it? Because you think you're trying to be original, but like, what is there left to do to be original? I did a podcast with John McClure from Reverend and the Makers, and he thinks that music is going to go into kind of like algorithms and like really like futuristic type of music, because that's the only thing that hasn't yet been done. But you never know, do you? But that's it. I think there's a lot of these bands, and you can't help but sound like bands that have been before. But of course, you're going to get people, hardcore music fans, that are going to say that's been done. They won't accept it because it's not the best, it's not the original. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really difficult one, isn't it?
No, it's like Oasis the most original, but they just wrote amazing songs and an amazing vocalist. That's fair. I think down the vocalists to try and sound like themselves, but
yeah.
Playlists on Spotify, what everyone's after these days, apparently, and they want music that's non-offensive, non-intrusive, and just sits in the background. And it's to coin a local vernacular. That's elevated music, and it kind of is, and that's sad. So I hope we do come out of it. I mean, I listen to like Sleaford Mods, who I love, but they're like my age, well, a couple of years younger, but so it's hard for youngsters to start, and it's difficult, I don't know. I think
also people are quite afraid, aren't they, as well? Maybe if someone wants to be a little bit controversial, you get eaten alive nowadays, don't you, for even the slightest bit of controversy. That like for fear of just being attacked. I think people are trying to maybe holding back on their creativity a little bit.
I think that's a really, really good point. Things that some of the, if you go back to the Beatles or Stones, things that people used to say, you couldn't say it. Or in the 70s or even the 80s and the 90s, you couldn't say that now. I think you have to toe the line and play the game if you want to. I don't understand the only point of a record label would be to do all that social media for you, so you can concentrate on the music. Otherwise, there's no point. I don't see the. Yeah. I'm doing it because the Mondays don't make music anymore. We're just a live entity. So I do side projects with called. I've got this release called Magic Village. There's just three of us. We're not a band. I'm not saying we're a band. I think the Gorillaz did that well. They said they wasn't a band. We're not a band. We're three people making music, different types of music. One does electronic soundscapes. One does kind of psychedelic stuff. I do the acoustic stuff. We bring it together.
Like a collective.
Yeah. A collective. I try not to use that because it sounds very jazz funk, doesn't it?
Well, I like the description of the Magic Village. Is you might be creating, Gaz, you might be creating a new genre, flower punk.
Flower punk, well, it's funny because we had a song with the three lads, and the two lads, and with Johnny and Wayne, we were in a band called Buffalo 66, we played with Ian Brown and Hippie Mafia, a similar band, and we had a song called Flower Punk, and that's what it kind of was. And I think, I forgot about that. I'm going to use that then, yeah. And it is kind of, it's like, we're going to do, it's kind of music for, it's not angry music, it's music about peace and love, but with a punk element to it, because
I think it sounds fantastic, right up my street. I'm really because you're going to be released. Well, I don't know what date you're releasing it, but you're doing a Stone Roses cover, 10-Story Love Song, which is great because obviously the Stone Roses were very influenced by you, which is kind of like a nice transition back, circle of life. So what made you choose 10-Story Love Song?
It wasn't to be released. The three of us, because I'm stuck in Toronto, and Wayne and Johnny Castro.
Sorry, my dog in the background.
Castro, and what dog is it? Sophie dog.
Oh, it's my little Lila. She just constantly needs attention. She's my little Romanian rescue. You're gonna say hello to Gaz. She always gets involved with the podcast.
Oh, hello.
She just bites me throughout the whole thing. Sorry, Gaz. You continue.
No. And what were we saying now? See, that I was kicking in dementia already. I was rambling about.
So you were saying you weren't going to release 10-Story Love Song as a release.
So we just wanted to get our level set with the studios or something we could. We've got one of them giant rabbits trying to get in here. It'll just have to close the door. See, that's another pet. They're giant rabbits. Don't get one.
Rabbits.
Carpet bomb everywhere. It's like you don't want to know. Anyway, There were a couple of songs that we tried for sonic levels, and it was Sensorial Drums because the harmonies, Cinnamon Girl, Neil Young, I can't remember, John Lennon, Steel and Glass. There's a few that you can work out about harmonies and what. So that was just the first one we did. And we liked it. Went, oh, that sounds pretty trippy. So we just thought, oh, should we finish it? So we just finished it and put it out. It's nothing like what we're going to be like. It's just a bit of an introduction, a bit of fun. I keep in touch with Ian Brown a lot, and I kind of got in touch with him on email and said, oh, I know we always said we'd never do this, but we've cut one of your songs, and then I realised it's a John Squire song. Oh, yeah, and he mentioned it, so I don't know whether I've upset him. I don't know.
I think he's got bigger things to worry about at the moment, hasn't he, poor Ian?
No, but I don't think he cared anything. I think, he just laughed. We always said we'd never. I mean, in my little tiny mind, it's like, well, the Stones started by a Beatles cover, so we all think we're in the Beatles or the Stones, even though we might be playing to two people in a pub. We all think that. So it was just an accident, really. So we've already started. We're going to release a song. This is another thing that's kind of sad, I think. And I'm sorry I'm rambling on a bit.
No, we love it. You ramble away.
I don't eat in the daytime, so I'm not eating yet. So I'm sort of cortisol induced.
You carry on, honestly. It's great.
No, but I hate listening to musicians talk about me. I can't be doing all that.
It's a podcast about you, Gaz. It's
No, sorry, but I know. It's anyway. So I think. I don't know. The next song we're going to release a song every 6 weeks or every 4 weeks, hopefully. Because I think sadly the album, no one listens to albums anymore. They should do, and I don't. We all got short attention spans, and I think we're going to release a song every 4-6 weeks. No one will probably listen. No one will. I don't know. I hope they do, but if they don't, they don't. I'm not going to beg people to. And we've already got our next song done because it was an old song we never finished, and and I'm looking forward to that more. But the cover was just a bit of fun, and it's the next song, So You Are, is very different, a lot more up tempo. But it's still about, everything's about today. We're all pissed off with everything and the way things are, but we all have to indulge. We all have to. I carry a mobile phone, but I try not to be stuck in it. I don't. Yeah. We all need social media. We all need to do all these things, but it's kind of like anything, without trying to be, spiritual about it. Like the Buddhists never say, it's nothing wrong if your buddy's owning a Porsche or flying first class. Just don't come attached to it. Nothing wrong with having things. Don't become attached to them. That's the difference.
Yeah, just have a healthy relationship with it. I do try that as well because I'm really conscious about spending so much time in front of a screen. So, if I go out for a walk, apart from taking photos and stuff, I won't connect with anybody. I'm out for a walk. That's my time, and I always take a step back if I feel like I'm getting stressed out by social media and stuff. Then I think, like you said, it's fine to do it, if you use it in the right way. But I think a lot of people do. I swear, there's some people just on Twitter all the time. I'm like, how do you find the time and energy for it all?
My two boys are 19 and they're constantly on the phones, but neither of them are on social media, but they're constantly on the phone. So
yeah. Well, I suppose with this whole lockdown pandemic thing, technology has been a huge positive, hasn't it? 'Cause it's allowed us to stay connected to people. If this had happened 20 years ago, it would have. I don't know how. The world would have completely stopped, wouldn't it? If this had happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I just worry that we learn if we find a way to be social without actually making any contact. And we're at the end of the day, human beings are. Pack animals, and we need to spend time together. But we'll see, that will sort itself out. When you go for a walk, put your phone on airplane mode. You get less radiation, and you don't get calls either.
Oh, is that right? I might do that actually, because I don't ever use my phone. I'm a nightmare for taking photographs. If I love sunsets and sunrises, it's my new obsession.
Oh, you should do. That's a really good thing to get into. You should.
Yeah. I know, we're talking about your whole mindfulness. I've always been quite a mindful person, but really so much so in the last 12 months. Really connected with nature. There's nothing more. As I walk along the canal, all I think about is what I can see. So I see a bird, and I see a duck, and just and the colours and things like that. I've never been so aware of my surroundings at once as I have since this whole pandemic.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly, you just described it perfectly. That and we all walk around blinkered, you know. I do that when I go for a walk. I never used to years ago. I mean, there's only reality. It's nature, and we're part of it. We always think we're not part of it. We're exempt from nature, but we're not. They'll be doing that way. But we're just part of nature. We're just a conduit from, you know, without trying to sound like hippie, but it's true, you know. I mean,
No, but that's it. And I think if you believe that, then you feel it, don't you, as well? Like on a really nice, like beautiful day, you do, like I do sometimes feel like it's almost like a sense of like empowerment, isn't it? And you kind of just feel like it is all kind of one big thing. But yeah, like you said, I don't think it comes to everybody naturally. I think you've got to make a conscious effort to try and think like that a lot. But no, it really interests me and all that. Like
some
yeah.
suits us, you know, we were bought. It's no coincidence that people have more autoimmune diseases and illnesses, and when the further away we go from the equator, you know, we're created to live in a warm environment near the equator. Healthier, you know, vitamin D. We need vitamin D. People avoid the sun, put loads of sunscreen on. You know, don't go in the midday sun. I'm not telling people to do that, but I go out on some days and get in the sun early morning, first hour. Really good for you. Really good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I love being outside. It's just I love it. If I would provide my own way, I'd just be out wandering all day.
What to do? That's what we need to do.
Yeah. Well, it was exciting then. But yeah, like you said about the whole album thing, a lot of bands and artists are doing it either like 3 or 4 track EP or like you're doing, like staggering releases. But I kind of miss the whole album thing too. I miss the whole excitement of, like, you know, you used to, like, bands used to drop like 1 or 2 singles and then you'd wait for the album to come out. I really, really miss that side of music, like the whole physical releases of vinyl and CD.
Some of my favourite songs, you find out when an artist becomes your favourite, you realise that it's always the hidden album track or a B-side that becomes your favourite song. Always. Oh, it always is. And we're going to lose that to just, you know, but everything's becoming mainstream. Everything's got to be bigger and better and have a, you know, and have fireworks connected to it. There's no, you know, I watched a clip of Cat Stevens the other day in 1973 playing his acoustic sat there, and Cat Stevens' amazing voice and stuff and songs, and everyone's just sat there. And instead of trying to entertain with X Factor explosions and lights and loads of dancers and all this, people are engaged. So no one makes music anymore to engage you rather than entertain you. And I think both are important. But I think you need, you know, in a live show, if you're going to watch a band for an hour and a half, so you need 2 aspects of that. You need entertainment, you need engaging and entertainment. You need that. And what we are going to do, and I think the arts need to stick together now. I mean, with the Magic Village, we're going to do. It's a bit of a story. So kind of are going to do an album, but we know it's going to be released over 6 weeks. But it's going to be a narrative with it. So it's a story, and it's about, you know, modern times and how we've all become, you know, we all think we're free and we're not. And I'm not going on I'm not pontificating about, you know, we're all prisoners. You know, it's not about that. It's just about prisoners of searching outside of everything else. So basically what you were saying, and we're just distracted by everything instead of, you know, in here. And it's like, you know, and I think we need to. There's nothing wrong with them things. Nothing wrong with watching terrible TV shows. There's nothing wrong with that. Or watching reality TV shows. I mean, I'm not a big fan myself, but some I do like. I love Gogglebox, by the way. You know, nothing wrong with that. You don't have to read and learn all the time, but just be aware of it, like we were saying before. And I think we're just getting lost. And so the narratives about that. It started off a little bit about the pandemic, and we lied to about everything, not just about the pandemic. I mean, in general, you know, because I'm not lied to, we're misled, and we all do that. We all mislead people, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, into how our brilliant lives are. Everything's,
Definitely.
again, everything's, nothing's real, nothing. And Tony Wilson said to me years ago, I remember him saying to me, we was having a curry in Manchester one day, and he said to me, you know, nothing's what it seems, everything is just on the surface, nothing's, you know, when you meet people, you realise nothing's what it seems, you know.
Oh, there was a thing on Netflix. I don't know if you saw it. I can't remember what it was called. It was like a murder, like a family in America. I don't know. You don't really watch much TV. I don't really watch much of it, but I watched this about this family that put all their life on Facebook and things. But the husband ended up killing their 2 little girls. It was one of the most awful things I've ever watched. But it's like you say, this whole like Facebook side. This guy's off having an affair. Basically, he just wants to have a new life. So he killed his wife and kids, And it's just like, and you just would never, from like when you started watching it at the start, you would never have thought that, like all the way through it, I was like, no way would he kill his kids. Like he clearly adores them. But in actual fact, it's just bonkers, isn't it? But yeah, like you said, did you see I don't know if you've heard of the social dilemma? So
Yeah,
basically
so
they look at like social media and how it you takes you on a rabbit hole. So you'll go onto your phone and then these ads pop up and you end up spending like hours and hours on your phone, and it's just not good.
and again, some of them can be good low links like to music. So, I wouldn't, you wouldn't have found that music because you're listening to, so it can be good. Just got to be aware of it. I saw that documentary. Is that the one when he comes home from work and there's camera footage? I can't remember.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. And then I think one of the woman's friends had called the cops, and he turned up and obviously acted like he didn't know anything about it. But
Yeah, just and nothing's
very
what
disturbing.
you see with rock stars. Everything's like and it's not. Life's not like that. We're not. It just isn't like that. And people are too scared to, I like to really show the real person. And I've been guilty of that. We all have. Things I'm pointing out. I'm as guilty as anyone. But
I think you're very honest, though. I've followed you for quite a while now. I love your posts. They're always very honest, I think, and very real.
I think it's easier. If you're a drummer or that, it's easy. But I think it's easier. You don't have to live up to anything. I think the other thing with bands is I think when I go and watch a band or I hear a band, I want to find out the different personalities. What's the bass player about? Usually lazy bass players, what's the drummer? Drummers are either complete nuts or completely boring. There's no middle way with drummers. You know what I mean? Apart from me, of course, I'm very middle. Players, I wouldn't trust walking my dog. Singers and whatever are different because they have to create something like an actor does. They have to create something that's not them. And I just think, and it's like I think David Bowie always said, as soon as I walk off stage, I'm David Jones. I'm not David Bowie. And he was very shy. That's why he created all these different personalities. I think it's different for singers. So there's always conflict between bands and singers because we really know them and they know that we know them. But it's they have a completely different paradigm than the rest of the band. So it's difficult, and I don't know. It's difficult, and I don't know whether they can them different personalities within bands can survive these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it goes back to that whole this whole world that we live in where everyone gets offended by everything. It's almost like people, and especially with like a lot of young musicians as well, they're growing up in this world where people aren't allowed to kind of speak out or voice their opinion without like having a difference of opinion is not allowed, doesn't seem to be allowed nowadays. So I think when you're growing up and like trying to build your character, like naturally it's not gonna you're not gonna grow as much as you maybe would have done before, or like before people's opinions all changed and everything everything was just so much of a problem.
You have to be binary. Everything's got to be, you're either this side or this side. You have,
I know. And I understand it. Like obviously, like being offensive is not a good thing, but I do think as well, in a way, like just shooting people down just for having a difference of opinion maybe isn't overly bad.
It's insane. It's just insane. It's just but that's why it's become. There's no debating anymore. There's no valuing someone's opinion. And nothing's black and white. That's one thing you learn. Nothing's black and white. No matter what side or extreme it's about, whatever it's about, whatever it is. I'll read them side, the other side, then find somewhere the truth usually lies in the middle. I'll have an opinion on what side I think I'm on, but I always read the opposite side. Wife taught me that you've got to, she's a social worker, so you've got to listen to both sides, and extreme and and against anti that view you'll be. You've got to listen to them and then go, right, okay, you really have.
Yeah. I kind of try and practice that as well. Like if it's something that I might not believe in personally, I always try and understand it from. If I don't agree with something, I always try and think, right, okay, I'll try and understand why you think this way. You don't have to agree with it, but just try and understand. Like it's not, yeah. But yeah, crazy old world, crazy old year, isn't it?
We're not running away from ourselves all the time. And I've been running away from myself since I was 11. I had an accident, and it's had depression, and that's why yoga, meditation helps, and music helps, and drinking does short term, but makes it worse. Are you still on the wagon, by the way?
Yeah, 2 months. Well, 2 months and 8 days now. on my tea. So yeah, I'm doing 100 days, and just ironically, the 100 days falls on the 12th of April. But I'm not just going to go straight into it. I'm going to hang up, just wait now, just do it for as long as I can. But no, I feel like loads better, like mentally, really, really good.
Yeah, mate, I did 2 months when I was in England, when I was at my folks in October, November, and I couldn't believe the energy. It's to the point where I was annoying me, the two lads in the band. You become a pest, you become a Paul McCartney of the band, you know what I mean? It's like, what you need, but you know, see, I've just said band then. I said I wasn't in the band before, didn't I? There you go, see.
Oh my god, that's so true though. I've started annoying myself. I'm so chirpy. Like first thing in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, "Come on, let's go." And even I'm like, "God, you're so annoying."
But it's good, you know, that's the thing. And again, with alcohol, it's good to use. Like this week, I've definitely, this weekend, I had one beer on Friday and I had 2 glasses of wine on Saturday, and that was it. Where before, me and my wife have, you know, we'll go a little bit crazy than that. But we didn't, and I feel been so much better, got so much more done. And you know, it's kind of, I don't, you know, Johnny Marr, you know, hang on, beware, there's going to be some falling names here, some name dropping. Lucky I said to Ian Brown, when they stopped drinking, they create everything just went, you know, they've become focused on so much. And Anton from Brian Jones on Massacre, the same thing. So I know that if I did stop, you know, but I enjoy drinking, but I just try to keep it. And the good thing here in Canada where I am, you know, cannabis is legal. I literally went, it's easy to buy cannabis. You can only buy alcohol from one store here, owned by the government.
Really?
It's really difficult. But there's cannabis shops everywhere. And I literally walked up to the shop. And the first time I've been in one, really, because my wife was going, and I walked in there, and the other child, he was like going to an off license and buying herb. It was great. Which is something, again, I don't overdo that either, because, you know, it can be,
Yeah.
you know, if you're feeling down, it'll make you feel worse.
It's
So,
crazy,
you know,
isn't it? Like, just it's crazy how different it is. Like when I went to Amsterdam a couple of years ago now, it's the same over there. Like they have like these it's almost like a Boots chemist, and like this guy literally sits you down with a menu and like tells you all about the effects of it, because it makes me a bit anxious smoking weed. So he was like, just have this really chilled one. He was like really reassuring. He was like, my girlfriend loves this. He said she doesn't like any kind of reaction, just likes to feel mellow and stuff. And it was just amazing. Like it's a whole different culture. But yeah, like you say, everything in moderation, isn't it? That's the trouble with us Brits. We don't tend to do things in moderation.
Put the word out of my mouth, that is right out of my mouth. But it makes me anxious as well. It makes me, it's like, and I said, oh, no, it calms me down. It makes me more, if you're an anxious, it's a mood enhancer. If you're an anxious person, if you worry, it'll make it worse. You know, it's not, so, and it always made me anxious. And so I always used to, I was never like, and most things do, most stimulants do. That's why I've been, which has served me well, really. But now, since my mind shift through Buddhism and yoga, meditation, and I listen to a lot of free, because there's lots of things that I can bore you with. I don't want to sound like, you know, Russell Brand, but you know, I don't get anxious now, and you've got to keep hydrated with it. If you're really hydrated, you won't get as anxious. You know, and you've got to.
I had a dodgy trip. That's why I get anxious. When I was really, really young, about 21, 22, I must have smoked like something laced or something, and I started thinking I was having a heart attack. So now, whenever I smoke weed, I instantly go back to that. Oh my god, I'm going to die. But yeah, I've had it now and again, but only very, very tiny amounts. But like you say, it's fine if you just don't overdo it.
Well, I'm the same. I've had loads of bad experiences with it. Loads.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Horrible. You're going to die. You know, I had one. I mean, the last time we had one, it was here. It was a couple of years ago, and I felt like I wasn't connected to my body, which is something I'm aiming to get to, but not through that.
But in a nice way.
It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. He was like a puppet, and it was awful. It was awful. You know, hydrate, black pepper, loads of pepper helps, and hydrate.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, but hydration is about CBD. Get CBD to counteract the THC. But also you got to remember that they manipulated the plant now. I was talking to a Rastafarian I know I do some recording with, and he played in Burning Spear, but he was saying the thing about cannabis is it's like now it's not the natural plant. And you've got to remember in the 60s when people were smoking it was like THC, like, for people who smoke will know this, THC levels, the cannabinoid that makes you the active ingredient, let's say, it's like 25 on now. Back then it was the natural plant is like 12. I don't think it's 8 to 15 or something. So it wasn't that strong. So it wasn't, and now it's hybrid, it's sprayed. It's so it's not the real.
No,
So
that's it.
I own in the back garden here a little bit and keep it natural and keep it organic. And so anyway, let's get off that.
No, that's all right. No, like, I'm really interested in it as well. Like, yeah, I know I'm interested in it, and whether or not it becomes legal. But like you say, you can't just go right, cannabis is legal, because you get any old crap when you're on the market.
And then the Brits go mad with everything. It's like anything. You can't, I've got to tell them.
That's it. We just can't be trusted. That is it. This is why we can't have nice things.
And I'm guilty of it, and I think maybe it's the weather, I don't know, but I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, right then. I think we better wrap up, Gaz, only because I normally have a half hour. So we've done over half hour. It's been great. I've loved it. I could sit chatting all night.
A good moan, anytime, yeah. When I see your posters where you talk, you genuinely love music. You're in a lovely part of the world, then, but you love music as well, and you're passionate about it. And I think we're losing the arts. I think we really, really are. We're losing them, and I think you've got to stick together. And I think people who write or people take photographs or photographers. People take photographs, photographers. Everyone help each other. That's why I think visual. When you release a song now, I just think you can't release something. You've got to release a video. And you've got to release. Something of it. I don't know. You've got to. I do the Mondays acoustic stuff, and I was going to release them through a label. They're very good, actually. A really good label. But I'm going to wait until I finish my book and then release it all together as a package. So it's it all makes sense. So it's like
that's a good idea.
So it's like so it's like a soundtrack to the book, because I think for free. I'm not going to charge extra for it. I'll do things to catch people's attention, just give them, not just catch attention, to give them something. I think
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the one good thing about music still is that people are still enjoying owning records, and like the merchandise side and the actual physical records that people are. I love that that's kind of like going against the grain of the technology thing. I really like that. Same with books, actually. Like a lot of people, like when the Kindle came out, everyone was like, oh, we're going to get a Kindle, but it was just kind of a novelty, wasn't it? People like to have things, they like to hold things.
I've got shelves and shelves, but I love books. And when I travel, I used to have my hand luggage full of books. And Mark Day, the guitarist and musician, said, get on a Kindle. I was like, no. But now I do, for two reasons. One, you can, when I'm traveling, I take a Kindle because you can just have all the books. And two, you can put the light on at night and I can see.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, traveling's good. And when you're on holiday as well, it's quite good.
It's good. So it is, but I think we've got to bring these things together. I think, yeah. So I think you're right, but we just got to fight for the right to party. And I don't mean party as in dancing. I mean party in the arts and music. And I just hope this doesn't close small venues. And it's all right for me in the Mondays. But I just find it. I think the days of support bands have gone as well. I think them days are gone, and I think no one listens, no one. And I think maybe the only way you can't fight fire with fire, and I think you can't complain about something. You've got to bring something different. And I think bands, if they're charging more for gigs, instead of having support bands, which people don't watch anymore, sadly, I wish they did. Do an acoustic.
Oh, I always do.
I do, yeah. Not many do though. I'll do an acoustic set, or do two sets or something. I think, yeah, you do. I just think it's a lost art. And then now record releases, CDs or whatever CDs, your releases are now merchandise, music. Your actual music, the class as merchandise now.
Yeah, I know. I think we're kind of in a bit of a weird time at the moment. I think maybe in like 3 to 5 years time, like a kind of new whatever's going to happen with the music industry. I think within a few years we'll kind of find out, but we'll see. But no, I always watch support bands, and I think a lot of bigger bands are making a big effort to put on like upcoming local bands as well. So hopefully they'll carry on doing that. But at least it's good news as well, like with these vaccines, that we're going to hopefully have some live gigs in a few months.
I hope so. As long as, I don't agree with the vaccine passport thing, because
no.
Because they know that the vaccine doesn't show up. Let's not get into that one. But
we can do another secret podcast on that.
I'm not. I just hope we get this year, this virus dissipates, and we can start getting back to some kind of water, music and everything, definitely.
Yeah,
Gigs,
definitely.
just miss going to gigs. I miss,
And you got any plans to come back over
yeah.
to England?
As soon as probably when things lifted there, I'm going to come over for probably May for the rest of the year. Got some
Oh,
Mondays gigs.
brilliant.
I know with the Magic Village, we're going to just looking for a place to rent. I'm going to rent a small farmhouse or somewhere. It says farmhouse, so probably be somewhere detached because there's noise. And we're going to do with the Magic Village. We're going to record a load of songs. I'm trying to say short saying album and just stream it 24 hours a day. There might be 2 people watching.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Monkeys, but have you ever seen the Sympathy for the Devil, the Stones, where you see them from the very start of the song?
Yeah.
And the card where it starts off as like an acoustic samba, and it turns into and I just want to show how a song and how it starts at nothing to create a song, because musicians don't like people seeing that. They like to see the end product, so it looks like magic. I want to show singing out of tune, playing, you'll get it wrong until you get there. And just as around the house, you might be they're like Big Brother, but making an album and just stream it 24 hours for.
But that'd be good for you to watch back as well. That's brilliant. I really know. I like that.
Finding somewhere, probably Lancashire or Derbyshire, seems to the cheapest places so far. Away from everyone, but not too far. Peak District would be fantastic. Yeah.
Because I know you were going to come over to the UK, weren't you, last year? And then I can remember you got stuck, didn't you? You just couldn't come over because of the travel restrictions.
Stuck in England, couldn't get back here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Stuck in Manchester, damn it. So yeah, so everybody, you need to check out the Magic Village. What date are you releasing the Stone Roses cover?
Friday the 20th.
Friday. So I think this podcast is going out next Wednesday, which is so that's the 17th. So as you're watching this, the Magic Village released a cover of 10 Story Love Song last Friday. So go and check it out.
It'll be on Bandcamp. I'm just going to put it on Bandcamp and just, whatever.
Yes, go and buy it on Bandcamp. It's way better than Spotify.
Listen to it. Whatever you want to do, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's, whatever you want to do. It's, the money is just to fund. I think with most bands on money, I don't think, music's not, you don't get into music for money anyway. We got very lucky. We caught the back end of it, but it's there to fund future, artistic ventures. And I think with everyone, so I think it's just supporting. Anyway.
Yeah, no, when I ventured into doing a promotion a couple of years ago, it blew my mind like how little like upcoming bands and artists actually get for, basically it's just like expenses. So yeah, it was a real eye opener. But I think as much as you can, it's always good to support, keep buying stuff from bands.
Yeah, I do. I always get people saying, "No, I'll send you a copy." I don't know, I'll buy it. But
yeah, I'm like that too. I'll go to just send me the link to buy it.
It's true. I think it's just our focus is bizarre. I think Noel Gallagher was right in the thing when he said, people spend £7 on a coffee from Star, whatever it's called, but but won't spend it on an album that they can have. And music's bizarre. We don't know what it does to us. I heard a really terrible rock song from the 80s that I never liked. I still hate to this day. And I heard it, but it took me back to something that it took me back to a really nice time. So even music you don't like can help,
Yeah, so true. Oh well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you're going to be releasing after this cover. Flower punk sounds right up my street.
Oh, I'm going to keep that idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I think we should do it. New genre.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, angry hippies. No, yeah, punk hip. Yeah, flower punk. Yeah, that's a great. I'm going to
just go around slapping everyone around the face with bunches of flowers.
Yeah, flower punk. Yeah, flower punk. Good idea.
Oh, that's been. Oh, Gaz, it's lovely to chat to you.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, great.
Oh no, it's been really, really nice, and people will love this. So this is another Nobody Talks Anymore podcast, and I think we're going to have a couple more in this series. But yes, we're very grateful, Gaz.